So despite whatever plans Warner Brothers and Discovery has for the DCEU universe, apparently it's still going to end on a big bang. Endgame level event. Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix. My name is Chris Wong. So there are many questions about whether or not the DCEU will have some type of big game event, something that will pull things together into a crisis level event. Especially if David Zaslav, the CEO for Warner Brothers and Discovery, wants to follow Marvel's cinematic universe and get to that Infinity War, that Endgame level event. Now there's this controversial article that popped up from Giant Freaking Robots that kind of opened up a bigger conversation on what's going on with the DCEU. Ben Affleck has been offered a staggering $30 million payday to come back to the DCEU as Batman and lead an adaptation of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now, there has been many debating about this article. Lots of scoopers, in fact, most of the scoopers are saying this, in fact, is not true and this is not taking place. And others are looking at the wording here and seeing the $30 million payday, and they're also seeing Crisis on Infinite Earths. The people who've seen CW said that we've already got Crisis on Infinite Earths. That already happened. I don't think this is true. Well, one scooper by the name of Casey Walsh at Geeks Worldwide said this: that Affleck article is totally fake for one simple reason. There is no way any studio is paying Affleck $30+ million for a film. By comparison, The Rock is currently the top paid actor in Hollywood and can get about $20 million offered. So a $30 million payday go Affleck is laughable. Which other scoopers have said as well that seems to be unlikely that they're going to pay $30 million for Ben Affleck for this one film. Though Casey Walsh did come back and say this. Now, do I think they bring back Affleck for a Crisis film? Yes, I've been saying Crisis is their event film for more than a year. But Affleck is not going to lead it, and they certainly aren't paying him $30 million to do so. They want their Endgame moment. Now, the reason why he's saying that Affleck will probably be coming back for a Crisis event, and that there is hints to going into a Crisis event, is if you already know about the spoilers in the Flash film. And this is relation and reference into the mid or post-credit scene for the upcoming Flash movie. So if you don't want to know what that is, I guess you should skip this video. But if you're still here, the mid or post-credit scene for the Flash movie is said to be Ben Affleck's Batman is calling to Ezra Miller's Flash from another universe or from the current DCEU, saying, "Come find us." Which is very similar to Batman v Superman when Nightmare Flash reached out into the past to reach out to Ben Affleck's Batman to ask him, "Come find us." Which very much means that the current DCEU, the characters within the current DCEU, including Ben Affleck's Batman, does still exist. He didn't die, he wasn't erased, and that scene is a tease for what's to come, and what scoopers are saying is a Crisis event. But that's the question. Which Crisis event are we talking about? In the comics, there are at least 3 Crisis events that are very well known. The first one, of course, is Crisis on Infinite Earths. The big bad is the Anti-Monitor in that line of comic books, but it was also shown as the culmination of the Arrowverse, Crisis on Infinite Earths. And like people say, why would they do Crisis on Infinite Earths again? Well, this is the DCU. This is the film. This is the movie version, perhaps. But then again, we've already seen Barry Allen from the movies meet up with Grant Gustin's Barry Allen. So that kind of just tells everybody that the movie universe exists with the CW universe. The other one could be Infinite Crisis, in which the main antagonist is Superboy Prime, a Superman that went completely nuts and is killing everybody. And since this Superboy Prime is from our universe, where we know about these comic books, heroes that exist in comic book form, I mean, that can be kind of cool. I almost feel that's unlikely to happen, so let's get to the Final Crisis. A Final Crisis event could definitely work because the main antagonist for Final Crisis is Darkseid. And yes, Darkseid only appears in Zack Snyder's Justice League. They do kind of mention him in the Joss Whedon's Justice League as well. But seeing that both versions have parademons, Black Adam movie is supposed to allude to the Intergang, which is related to the Apocalypse, and Darkseid is essentially Thanos for DC, it may just be very likely that Darkseid Final Crisis would be the crisis event that we will probably be headed to. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, is this related to Zack Snyder's picture on Thanksgiving with the Final Crisis book in the background? It could. Not sure. He's very busy with Netflix universes right now. He may be part of the people that are pitching Final Crisis to the studio. Or maybe the studio themselves are reaching out to multiple directors and saying, we want to do a crisis event film. What do you got? Not that that's happening. I'm just trying to figure out why he would place a Final Crisis book in the background with what looks to be 2 pamphlets or 2 scripts he has there. I don't know. And with Scoopers alluding that a crisis event is going to happen, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 or 3. I mean, they could possibly adapt that into a Final Crisis event, I guess, but the main idea is that they are looking to do a crisis event. Whether or not that's Zack Snyder or another director, but a crisis event is definitely going to happen. But is it still going to happen? Because a lot of these ideas is before the Warner Brothers Discovery merger. Now that the merger is complete, David Zaslav is taken over, he's changing it up. Is this still the idea? When a fan asks, do you think Crisis is still their plan with the new leadership in place? And Casey Walsh says, yes. So with the new leadership in place, they still want to do a crisis event, and the fact that, and hopefully it's still in the Flash movie by the time it comes out, that post-credit scene where Ben Affleck's Batman is reaching out to Ezra Miller's Flash to say, come find us, well, that could also only mean that Henry Cavill would be the Superman of that universe, because he is the Superman of the current DCEU. So even though Supergirl is going to be the super for the new universe coming out of the Flash movie, even though Michael Keaton's going to be the Batman coming out of the new Flash movie, the fact that Ben Affleck's Batman is still alive, asking Barry Allen to come find them, that means the other super that's represented in the current DCU, in that DCU he's stuck in, would have to be Henry Cavill's Superman. And because we're talking about a crisis event, a crisis would have to deal with multiple DC characters from multiple universes, multiple Earths. So it's very much likely that this crisis event film, whenever it's happening or how they're going to get there, is definitely have Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, probably Michael Keaton's Batman, Sasha Calle's Supergirl, so on and so forth. They're all going to be there fighting Darkseid, or whichever crisis this is and whatever villain that's going to come out of this. Well, what do you think about the possibility that there is going to be a crisis level event, DC's very own Endgame, and that hopefully every single person that has ever been a superhero in the DCEU will definitely show up to fight Darkseid? Share your thoughts in the comments down below.